We talked on yesterday's show about the response we've seen from many Republicans, many conservatives to the Silicon Valley Bank collapse. And I want to show you now a Media Matters video that was put together that very nicely highlights why their response is what it is. And what I mean by that, and we discussed this a little yesterday, is they'll say the reason why Silicon Valley Bank collapsed was because of woke, was because of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Not explaining exactly how that makes any sense. And very notably, not addressing the fact that really what does have some evidence behind it is the role that Trump's deregulation of the banking industry, going after Dodd-Frank, played in this. And that's exactly what this is about. When your very ideology actually is more to blame for why the Silicon Valley Bank was in the situation that it was, and why we didn't have the proper regulations in place to prevent this type of bank collapse, you have to distract from it. And so a great way right now in the modern right-wing movement to do that is to say, it's woke. It's woke's fault. And it works for a lot of people somehow. But here's this Media Matters video. At the top, showing in 2018 the media coverage of Trump's deregulation in regard to Dodd-Frank. And then below, you see 2023, what they've had to latch on to distract from this very fact.
We are waiting for President Trump to emerge. He'll be signing legislation that essentially rolls back some of the restrictions of Dodd-Frank.
Not a full dismantle of Dodd-Frank, but a big win for the administration.
There's going to be a lot of rejoicing in Smallville as a result.
I think this benefits the community banks, the regional banks, more than anybody else.
It's a very good decision.
Yeah. A little rollback indeed. This is good stuff. Take the brakes off and let the money flow once again.
Part of the Dodd-Frank repealed. I mean, this is good stuff.
Regulation is a tool for the incumbent company or business owner to use against the small little guy. And then you saw that at the financial crisis as well with Dodd-Frank. The big banks got bigger. They had no penalty to pay. And the small little local community banks got completely run over.
Is this, the Silicon Valley collapse, the beginning of the collapse of the woke economy?
This is really the first bank failure that was caused by adherence to woke beliefs and policies.
The senior vice president of risk management at the bank was heavily focused on LGBTQ plus programs.
Because you want a bank that cares about carbon emissions. And of course, there's endless posturing, because it's all free, about diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Silicon Valley Bank is a woke Biden bank. They were holding seminars on Lesbian Visibility Day and National Pride Month.
Hey, Silicon Valley Bank, is diversity still your strength right now?
It's time.
So, I mean, it could not be more clear. Ignore completely that it actually had to do with their risky investment decisions, trying to make themselves more money, and the fact that proper regulation that was in place before could have prevented this very situation. Ignore that. Ignore, even more specifically, that your guy, Trump, is responsible for rolling back regulations that could have made a difference here. And just point at woke. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. They had a seminar one time. Oh my goodness. No way. That's exactly what caused this financial situation. It's so meaningless, and I'm so tired of it. And there's no value to a discussion when that's all someone's bringing to the table. Jessica Tarlov, one of the liberal hosts on The Five, or the liberal host on The Five, nicely pointed out another part of this. Take a look.
I mean, that's an impossibility and something that we have to deal with. I want to say something about what the Post said. You know, if it was a MAGA bank, it basically was. Peter Thiel was one of the top 5 biggest VCs there, huge backer of Donald Trump 2016, 2020. In 2022, he resigned from the board of Meta. He was one of the original board members so that he could back J.D. Vance. He could join a Trump-aligned PAC for J.D. Vance and Blake Masters.
So then even the specific talking point of, okay, yes, it was decisions being made in the pursuit of profit, as all profit-motivated institutions will be doing, and investment decisions based on that led them to where it led them to, but the individuals making those decisions was woke. Thus, it's left's fault because wokeness. That's not even accurate, even though it's a pointless analysis, but it's not even accurate because, as Jessica Tarlov is highlighting there, Peter Thiel was very involved in this bank, and Peter Thiel is very much on the right. All of it is so just meaningless. But it matters, unfortunately, because people take away from an event like this when they are watching conservative media, and the conclusion that they hold on to is yet another reason why Democrats are causing all the bad things. It's the left's fault, and that's why I need to support Republicans more. When in reality, it's the Republican ideology, it's the conservative ideology that gets us in many of these very same situations that they're turning around and dishonestly characterizing to where we are. It's the deregulation. In regard to East Palestine, we've talked about in the past. If we had more proper regulation, we could prevent more train derailments. But it's conservative ideology that tells us, no, deregulate. That's a burden. Don't do that. Let the free market figure it out. Trust companies to make the right decision. And in banking, deregulate. And people will, because of these dishonest talking points, for some reason, the efficacy of using the word woke will turn around and support the very party that represents the very ideology that is actually allowing for these events to be more likely. It's so backwards, it's so dishonest, but that's where we are. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before all the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get the full bonus show every single Saturday, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley. Link in the description.